Welcome, everybody. This is Tom Trinningham. I'm the Director of Marketing for M&R Companies. And today I've got Chessie on the call. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
Yeah, well, I'm Chessie Rosier-Parker. I'm director of Squeegee Ink studio. And we've also started a clothing brand called Blind Maggot, which we run as well. And I think we've kind of transitioned into, I don't really know what to call myself nowadays because we changed it up so much. I think I'm going to call myself like a course creator or a screen print teacher again, because that's just where we're heading. That's what we're spending our time doing YouTube videos, tutorials, courses, all those kind of things to try and help out new printers and just get everyone on the same page and just put out some good educational content.
That's great. That's great. When did you start your company? How did that start?
I started about 8 years ago in the same space, but it was completely different. I had 3 flatbed presses, and we did mainly like artwork editions and a bit of fabric printing. And I'd say my first like commission job was working on PDP computer panels from the 60s. And they were really, really difficult. So we'd just have photographs and I'd have to do replicas. So that really threw me in the deep end. I had to just learn all this technical knowledge from nothing. Like I barely knew how to print a single color. So I went right into a 8 color front and back, all this crazy detail. And then in the beginning, in the first couple of years, I was teaching workshops in here. We also had a shop where we sold screen printed products and market stalls, and then most recently we've been just doing. We kind of got sucked into the purely t-shirt printing side of it, which we love, and then it's kind of evolved again where we don't print custom jobs for other people so much, and we just print our own brand.
Yeah, that's cool. And when did you guys start thinking you might want to take teaching seriously? Because that's an interesting spin, because a lot of screen printers will hold their knowledge and they wouldn't share it with competitors potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the hunger for knowing how to do things better maybe overcame the fear of not enough customers, right? People don't worry about not having enough customers anymore. I mean, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
I've always been in the educational space and like I've kind of got like an abundance mindset where there isn't a limited amount of customers. You're never going to know everything. It's very when you like close yourself off, you're closing yourself off from learning more as well. And then obviously like COVID and stuff like that and getting busy doing custom orders. We just realized that we can't hold those one-to-one meetings, so we need to throw it all online. So that was kind of our that motivated us to do all the online courses, really bump up the YouTube, and then the social media and all of that kind of stuff just propels it as advertising and marketing for them. It's all like kind of like a cycle. So once we've made a video and we've promoted it, and then everything just builds on top of each other from there. So yeah, that kind of openness of the community, I think that comes from people like yourself doing podcasts and doing shop tour things and just opening up like that. And then what people will find is they want to experience it and they want to be in the spotlight for a little bit and show people their studio and not seem like a weird recluse in the industry. So yeah, it's blown right open. I think technology has definitely helped us out.
Now, as far as equipment, you said you started with clamshell, and obviously you've done a fair amount of manual printing as well, right? So, I mean,
It's
what's your comfort level with different types of equipment, and what are you most familiar with?
like a
Yeah,
big
pretty much.
vacuum table.
Fixed presses, yeah, vacuum bed, that sort of thing, yeah.
Our expertise on that is pretty high. Like we used to do really fine art editions for museums and things. I've never done the jump to auto because of like space restrictions and electricity supply.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's where we want to push the business. I think we see ourselves as like a small, if we were comparing ourselves to restaurants, for example, we see ourselves as like a small little boutique sushi restaurant where,
Yeah.
yeah, there is a waiting list. We're not catered for everyone. You're probably not our customer. Like everyone off the street can't just walk in anymore. We used to be like serve everybody who came to the door, bend over backwards, but it's kind of we had to become more niche and serve less customers better. So that's kind of where we see ourselves.
There's a craft, but then there's the art to it, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
art ends up being a big driver behind well, I'm not just doing this. I'm not just slapping ink on a piece of paper, right? I'm doing something, there's some quality there. So maybe you
Yeah.
can speak to the art, like where'd you come from with your art background and how did that tie into things?
If I was to make my own perfect day in the studio, it would just be have some screens burned with some like abstract pieces, maybe like four or five. I'd have the flatbed to myself and I would just layer those screens up in loads of different formations and do layering and look at transparency of inks and just make a limited edition of art prints. And I couldn't have more fun. It would be like the best day ever. Have my music on really loud. That's where the passion and all that kind of stuff and being an artist comes from. And then yeah, you're right. You kind of just get. I don't think I've ever wanted to be an artist in my own right, like showing galleries and that type of thing. So I've sold work, but it's not like I don't know. I just don't find that as a direction. I've always seen myself more as like an art, like a technician, like a studio technician, showing other people how to use the equipment and like, guide them in their projects and things. And then I do just sideline stuff for myself, I suppose. But then that excitement came back with the t-shirt printing. So printing a shirt for yourself is just incredibly exciting because you get to make all those choices for yourself, like the artwork. So we get tattoo artists to design for us, and that's just like you're commissioning art, and that's pretty awesome. And then you're making all those choices for yourself and producing something that you're really proud of to sell. Whereas I have been sucked into loads of rubbish stuff that I shouldn't have. So I got, just because the work was being offered, I thought I had to take it, or I was leaving money on the table, which is just actually not the truth at all. We did a website about doing web design just because we could. It's like, what am I doing? And then we did digital print, which was like a weird little sideline, but actually distracted. Um, what else did I get into? Sublimation, loads of random stuff, but I've cut all of it off, thank God. And now we're as lean and precise and focused as I think we want to be now. So yeah, I have made those mistakes, but
So maybe just real quick, just to get a little, I guess focused on things. Like, what is it you guys offer? What's the transformational outcome, if you pardon the term, of somebody taking one of your courses? What do you really hope to transfer to people from them taking your stuff?
I think it's the most like the real life experience of coming in the studio and spending an entire day with us, where we're shut down the studio, not focusing on anything else but you and your project. So we're not just going, oh, and then you expose it. We're literally showing you every step and like guiding you through. And we've plotted out everything that needs to be said, all the most frequent questions, and we've tried to answer all of them in one go.
Everybody's all over the place when it comes to education, right? What is a best practice, and there's a huge need. There's a tremendous need for not only education, but people who really care about quality. What's it like being in the UK versus other places? Is there anything unique or specific to where you're located that you think offers some value to people?
Yeah, I think as as somebody who's creating content from the UK, it is different from the US because every time you watch a video from like a creator from over there, you're obviously having to filter it and you go, oh, I don't have that piece of kit. I don't know who that supplier is. I don't know what that ink is. I've never heard of that. And so you're kind of, it doesn't feel relevant to you. So we're actually like focusing, like I used to focus quite broadly on the USA and all of that, but I'm niching down slightly. So it's still entertaining for the other audiences, but I'm trying to really bring in this UK audience specifically on the like podcast that we're doing and stuff.
I've gotten sick of asking everybody about COVID. So if you feel
Mm-hmm.
like if
No,
you
go for it.
want to chat about that briefly, you feel free. But I'm as interested in the future, or if not more so, than I am about having to ride through that. But what are your thoughts in regards to that?
I think there was like a specific Monday where we're heavily into custom orders. We had like one order that we've been working on for ages, like trying to get them to order and be precise about it. That was like £16,000 just dropped, and she's like ringing us up crying, cancelling that order because it was so much effort. And then it was like all the other orders just went. They weren't as big, but literally everything just dropped off a cliff. So we already had our social media presence. We already had an email list. I hadn't really sent out emails. I'd like been accumulating this massive email list and done nothing with it. I had like 2 rubbish YouTube videos. Just all this stuff was just like untapped resources. So it gave us it's not even the opportunity, we had to at some point. We had to just go, right, what else can we do? Let's throw everything up on the internet and do like nice production value, make it like a really good little asset for us. And I think people resonate with what we're doing in the studio because they can see that we're in the same boat as them. They can see that we've got the same challenges. We're putting out jobs. They can see that we're still like we're kind of doing exactly the same as them. So they can trust us and take what we're saying as well. They've tried and tested that, and I see it in the back of their video. So I know that product is like they ask us for like product reviews all the time. For example, like what ink are you using? What mesh did you use with that? And I can just tell them like instantly because it's true and it's right there in the studio, and I can just walk over and take a photo for them. Or if they ask me a question on Instagram, I'd normally do it in video. I respond in videos, and I'm like walking around and I say, oh, you mean this bit? Yeah, this is the kind of ink. Or have you tried adjusting your off contact? And I can do that, and that really helps us in the community establish that trust, so they understand, that we're on the same page and we're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
you're asking about the future as well. You said,
Yeah.
so YouTube is going to be massive for us. We're really like pushing that to making that content. We're also starting the podcast with the first few guests are going to be British ones, just to kind of build that up a little bit. I'd love to do shop tours in the UK. So obviously I've been prying about that, but everyone's a bit like, no, COVID, but that will free up very soon. And then, just keep doing a lot of the stuff that we're doing and promoting the products and working on templates and resources for printers. I think we've focused in now and we're really happy with where we are. And we're happy with our day-to-day and not dealing with certain aspects of the job that was getting a bit dull. So, yeah, I think we've made the ideal business for ourselves.
Well, it's interesting when you hit your stride, right, with your business, and you feel like you're in a groove as far as things working. Just briefly, equipment. How did you choose your equipment? Like, and what do you really look for, and what do you feel like is important for other people to think about? Maybe just speak to that briefly.
I think when I was making my equipment choices, I was looking around at what other people who I aspired to be like were using, and so that's where I landed on the M&R press. Before that, I had what did I have? I had an American Workhorse or something, which was fine as well. I got along with that. Most of the time, I was just doing what is the absolute most expensive piece of kit that I can get, just that I can afford, and then I had the ability to like actually search around. I looked at all the presses, and I've got a good relationship with Screen Print World in the UK, who are the distributor. So that means that you can actually like go down and look at the equipment, and then he just talks you through it. And then I think I didn't need much more than that. I think I just needed to see it in real life and him just discuss a few of the features. And I know M&R through all your massive social media anyway. You work with all the big boys. So yeah, that's all I needed really.
Your print line, or your garment line. That's a real interesting name, and does it tie into your music choices and some of the other things? Like maybe you could just speak to that.
Thomas, I'll never tell.
Ah,
No, I'm joking.
fair enough.
No, the phrase blind maggot actually comes from a phrase that Em's like auntie used to say, where she used to say, "Oh, blind a maggot," and it was just some weird turn of phrase that she used when she was talking to us. And she's from Norwich, which is like a little area all of its own in England. Like, So yeah, we just thought, oh, blind maggot. We were trying to think of like we've got a lot of tattoo references. Yeah, we listened to, you're right, with certain genres of music, and we just thought, wow, that sounds really catchy and memorable, and it kind of ties in with the tattoo aesthetic. So yeah, we once we'd drawn it out a few times, then we thought, yeah, that's definitely it. That's really cool. We can work with that and we can do the typography and stuff. And then, yeah, when it works, then all the other names just kind of like fizzled out.
Where do people go if they want to find your stuff? Why don't you just, real quick, and we can obviously in the description to this, we can put links to your school and that sort of thing. But what's the best way to somebody get a hold of you and they want to find your teaching or maybe have you print something for them?
I would say Instagram DMs for asking questions, but all the information that we've possibly got is on our website. So we've got all the courses and we've got a big library of videos on there, and our YouTube videos are hosted on there as well. And that's where the links to all the podcasts and stuff are going to be as well soon. So yeah, for daily stuff, it's like TikTok and Instagram is where we are, and then yeah, got regular, like we're kind of all over the place, hopefully, but our website's probably the first call.
All right, excellent. All right, well, we'll put the link in the description here. And
Thanks, Thomas.
yeah, thanks so much for your time. And look forward to talking to you again sometime soon and hear about the growth. And who knows, maybe in the future you might have an auto behind you in the corner. You never know.
I might do, yeah. I've got my eye on some other M&R stuff before that, but